Hey everyone, big news starting Tuesday, February 4th. Let's Talk K-12 Education is moving to a new slot from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. That's right. Every week, every Tuesday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., we'll continue to make K-12 education everyone's community business. Don't miss a beat. See you at the new time. Hello, out there, awesome radio family. Thank you for joining us again on 107.5 FM and 1570 AM WECU every Tuesday. Are you ready to learn, engage, and be inspired? Welcome to the Let's Talk K-12 Education Show. I'm your host, but uh, I'm your host for the next 50 minutes, Tonitia Langley, education enthusiast, thought leader, founder, and education consultant and coach. I'm excited to partner with you and be dedicated to the heart of our community, which is built on none other than the foundation of education. As a former educator and classroom teacher from a traditional public school setting and current education consultant and coach, my goal is to use this platform as an unbiased show to educate and provide information as it pertains to our future. That is the goal of the Let's Talk K-12 education show, to let others know that in the challenging educational landscape, there is a light that pierces the darkness, and there are educators working in the trenches, stakeholders, and educational thought leaders like myself partnering with them to close the gap of the school to prison pipeline with tenacity, grit, grind, while providing hope. I'm the host, but you and the community mean the most. I would love for you to share your suggestions of what you would love to get more information related to K-12 education. So, if you want to partner with me and give me some thoughts and some suggestions and some ideas, especially where we're headed over the next coming weeks, please email us at let's talk K-12 education at gmail.com. So last week's show, I explored. Last week it was a solo show as well as this one, and I explored K-12 at the crossroads, navigating potential change in education, and I provided tons of information regarding for that subject. If you would like a recap of tools and resources for any of the previous Let's Talk K-12 education shows, search hashtag Let's Talk K-12 and catch us on the replay and comment hashtag replay by heading on over to Facebook, and you can type in Awesome Radio 107.5 FM and 1570 AM. Look for the purple and green logo. You don't do Facebook? No problem. We're also streaming on YouTube. So head on over to YouTube, www.youtube.com at Awesome Radio WECU. Again, look for the purple and green logo. So before I get into the new topic for today, I'm going to provide a continuation of the information from that show, K-12 at the Crossroads, Navigating Potential Change in Education, that I find valuable before we get into our topic today. So I mentioned last week of some case studies. So I'm going to give just a few of those and some more information before we head into our new topic today. So, several states have already implemented some of these innovative ways. I think I share with you the California um, control funding formula that formulated which kids would get what and based upon the money per pupil. And I talked about how I was familiar with that because of my partnership with another consultant that had a contract that was doing some work in California. So I found that was very interesting, that this would, in my research, it would come up again. So I'm excited about it. And again, we don't know if we'll have to adopt those kinds of strategies as we're headed into this new situation. We really don't know, but it's worth looking into. I want to skip over one, but I'm going to go to Career and Technical Education, CTE, a case study in Tennessee, a CTE pathway that they have. It offers 16 career pathways in high demand industries such as healthcare, advanced manufacturing, and information technology. The state collaborates with local employers to align curricula and workforce needs. And the impact, of course, increased graduation, improved job placement. And we talked about some of those in the series that I did, which was on college and career readiness beyond the K-12 classroom. I'm going to mention about addressing the special needs. This case study was in Massachusetts. Inclusive Practice Initiative. Massachusetts provides grants and professional development support to support inclusive education. Because again, I shared that educators are a lot like your other disciplines, like in the medical field, like doctors. They take a certain type of state test to get certified in their areas of expertise. So we can be familiar with how to work with certain students, but if that is not where our license that makes us a highly skilled educator, practitioner, then we are not the teacher that you would go to for those things. So there's several more, but again, I just have such a great time when I'm doing these solo shows, which I wouldn't know because it's just a lot of work, and I'm just having a ball doing these solo shows with you guys for this 2025 new year, new educational perspectives. So, as we welcome in this new year, we have new news. We're excited to announce a new time slot, an exciting new chapter for the Let's Talk K-12 Education Show starting February 4th from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. You heard it at the top of the show, leading into the announcements. And that is where we're headed to that new time slot. And I know that I mentioned it before, but I'm going to mention it again. There's a reason that we've decided that it's just better to move to the new time slot. So why is it important to move to the new slot of 3 p.m. to 4 p.m.? Is about empowering educators, enhancing their professional growth, and building community, because these are the times, a lot of times, that 4 o'clock area, the 3 to 4 o'clock area, either they're on their commutes home, or maybe, working after school where they might could, be listening in. So that is why we just decided that, maybe it's time to do a new chapter. So that's what we're doing. We have an intriguing show with the topic today. So, again, this is the second week that I am opting not to do How is Your Brain Game? Instead, let me share a quote aligned with today's topic, and I'll get to that in a minute. So, as we embark on this exciting new 2025 year, I'm particularly excited to be hosting another episode solo today. It provides a unique opportunity for us to delve deeper into some of the most pressing and thought-provoking issues facing education today. So I'm always excited about the shows that I host, but today gonna bring you in a little bit more on an intimate level with my journey that's in alignment with the topic today. And I want to start with this quote that I mentioned earlier. So, success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out by Robert Collier. So again, success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out by Robert Collier. So I wanted to share that because I'm going to build some context around it that shares an intimate narrative about my journey that ties into our topic today. So, a teacher's journey from humble beginnings to empowering educators, hopefully to show that I did it and so can you. It was the fall of my first year as a full-time, highly qualified sixth grade English language arts and social studies teacher. The classroom was small, but it buzzed with energy, students eager for a second chance to learn what they had struggled with before. I had big dreams of making an impact, of being the kind of teacher who would inspire kids to love learning, and the teacher I wished my own children had that was enrolled at that particular school. However, reality hit fast. The challenges were overwhelming. My students faced significant gaps in foundational skills, and many lacked confidence in their abilities. Some didn't even want to be there, and their frustration often spilled over into them receiving low assessment scores or making low assessment scores. I quickly realized that my teaching methods, freshly learned in college, didn't always translate into the real world of teaching. My breaking point. By December 2012, I felt defeated. The late nights spent lesson planning, the weekends grading papers, and the constant battle to keep my students engaged were taking a toll. I questioned whether I was cut out for this, even though I had won an uphill battle to pass my state praxis test for my teacher's license. One particularly rough day after a disappointing post observation evaluation meeting with my principal before Christmas break, I remember walking to my car down the breezeway after school, tears streaming down my face, thinking, I can't do this anymore. Maybe I should quit. That night, I stumbled upon a quote that would change everything. Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out by Robert Collier. The turning point, the power of small wins. The quote resonated deeply. I realized I had been so focused on the big picture, closing the learning gaps, meeting benchmarks, that I had overlooked the importance of celebrating small victories and my why for teaching. The next day, I made a promise to myself. I would focus on small, consistent efforts. I started breaking down lessons into bite sized pieces, achievable goals for my students. Instead of trying to fix everything once, I focused on one skill at a time and being in the moment with my students. When a student mastered a concept, we celebrated, even if it was just a high five or a sticker. Slowly, I saw their attitudes shift. They started to believe in themselves, and so did I. The growth mindset transformation. By spring, my classroom was a different place. It wasn't perfect, but it was thriving. My students were more engaged, their confidence growing with every small success. I began to see the ripple effect of my persistence. The experience taught me that teaching is not about grand gestures or instant results. It's about showing up every day, putting in the effort, and trusting the process. What were some of my lessons that I learned? Empowering educators in 2025. As I reflect on that challenging first year, I see how it laid the foundation for my journey as an educator. The lessons I learned about resilience, growth, and the power of small efforts are the same lessons I now share to empower other educators. Number one, start small and build momentum. Focus on achievable goals both for yourself and your students. Small wins lead to big changes. Number two, celebrate progress, not perfection. Acknowledge every step forward, no matter how small. It keeps motivation alive. Number three, embrace lifelong learning. Teaching is an evolving craft. Woo, I could say that again. Teaching is an evolving craft. Stay curious and open to new strategies, even when times are tough. Like I just shared about my very, very hard post observation evaluation that I had with my principal. Find your support system. Lean on colleagues, mentors, and professional learning communities. You don't have to face challenges alone. Number 5, practice self-care. Your well-being matters. Rest, recharge, and remember that you can't pour from an empty cup. Today, I stand before you not as someone who had all the answers, but as someone who learned the value of persistence and adaptability. To the educators navigating uncertainties in 2025, I want you to remember this. Success isn't about monumental leaps. It's about the small, steady steps you take every day. When you feel like giving up, know the impact you're making, no matter how small, can change lives. Let's commit to showing up for ourselves, our students, and each other. Together, we can rise above the challenges and build a brighter future for education. So, as again, I wanted to just build some context around, and I'm sure I won't get through all of these 15 strategies today, but that's okay. It's more important that I'm able to share my narrative, to share my story, to share my low point, to share my almost give up story, to share my at the bottom of the barrel story with you as we get ready to charter some uncharted territory so that you know as a TV and a radio show host in front of you, been there, done that, did it, accomplished, and managed to go back for 6 more years when I didn't think that I was going to make it. So today's topic is empowering educators, 15 game-changing strategies for professional growth amid uncertainties in 2025. And again, I may not get to all of them today, but I'm going to do my very best, okay? So the objective is to inspire and equip educators to embrace change, cultivate growth mindset, and develop the adaptability and resilience necessary to thrive in a rapidly evolving educational environment, whether it is a little or whether it is a whole lot. I'm trying to give you those perspectives by being full transparency, sharing my beginning teacher story, going in with lived experiences, almost 3 years of very successful K-5 reading and math remediation experience. And I still struggled to transfer my skill set with helping schools meet AYP into being a full classroom teacher. So I share that with you so it can offer you hope, because I don't know where you are today. I don't know how you feel, and I don't know where you're going to be as we could experience some difficulties and some challenges ahead. Okay, so I'm tapping in with you, sharing my story, full transparency to let you know that you can keep going. Okay, all right, so here are two thought-provoking questions around empowering educators, 15 game-changing strategies for professional growth amid uncertainties in 2025. In a world of constant change, how can we ensure that professional development opportunities are not just nice to haves, but truly essential and impactful for all educators? How can we do that? And thought provoker number 2, how can we create a system that supports educators' well being and empowers them to thrive, not just survive, amidst the challenges and uncertainties facing the education system? So, without further ado, let's get into at least one of our 15 strategies. Okay. So, we're going to share this one before we go to break. So, number one, stay informed about policy changes. Again, the show before this one, we talked about the shift in K-12. We talked about the possibilities that could happen as we could get into a shift with the U.S. Department of Education. So stay informed about policy changes. And I did my part with giving you and providing you all with some information. Why does it matter? Understanding shifts like those potentially introduced by Project 2025 helps educators anticipate change and adapt their practices. Actionable steps: subscribe to updates from trusted organizations like EdWeek, and I look at that one a lot, NEA, local education boards. Attend webinars and town halls about evolving educational policies. Join local advocacy groups to stay connected and informed. Again, we don't know what's going to happen. Right now, we're getting prepared with anticipation of what could happen. So, as I've been told by coaches, by my pastor, any mentor that I looked up to, is great that to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So that is my approach as a thought leader on the Let's Talk K-12 education show on Awesome Radio, is to be that change agent, is to be the educational enthusiast, to give you this information. Number two, leverage technology for growth. Why does it matter? Online tools and platforms make it easier than ever to access professional development opportunities tailored to individual needs. Actionable steps: I talked about enrolling in courses like Coursera, edX, Future Learn to deepen subject knowledge or pedagogy. Use AI tools like ChatGPT for lesson planning, grading, and creative teaching strategies. Explore webinars and podcasts from educational innovators. Number three, join professional learning communities, PLCs. Why does it matter? PLCs provide a collaborative environment where educators can share resources, strategies, and support. A lot of these are school-based, sometimes they're district-based, but hey, look into other areas and join some of those PLCs as well. What are the actionable steps? You can start and join a PLC in your school district and discuss common challenges. Participate in virtual PLCs on education forums like those hosted by ISTE or Teach Thought. So again, those are just a few of the things that you can do, being proactive as you are getting ready to head into these uncharted territories. So we've said a mouthful. I've covered at least three. I'm real proud of myself, but we've covered a lot of ground already. There is so much more to discuss. Let's take a short break to recharge. We'll be back shortly with more insights into the future of education. So may the new year bring you joy, growth, and success to all K-12 students, their families, and educators. You're listening to the Let's Talk K-12 Education on Awesome Radio, WECU 107.5 and 1570 AM, where we make K-12 education everyone's community business. We'll be right back after this short message with more inspiration for the world of K-12 education. See you back after the break. Hey everyone, big news. Starting Tuesday, February 4th, Let's Talk K-12 Education is moving to a new slot from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. That's right. Every week, every Tuesday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., we'll continue to make K-12 education everyone's community business. Don't miss a beat. See you at the new time. Welcome back to Awesome Radio, WECU 107.5 FM and 1570 AM. You can find us here talking about all things education every Tuesday on Let's Talk K-12 Education. Find us on Facebook by putting in your browser Awesome Radio 107.5 FM and 1570 AM with the purple and green logo. Find us over on YouTube with www.youtube.com at Awesome Radio WECU with the purple and green logo. And if you have some thoughts or some suggestions of topics you would like to have covered here on the Let's Talk K-12 Education Show, don't be shy. Email us at letstalkk12education@gmail.com. So prepare to be inspired as we continue the list on this journey of professional growth. Let's keep it going with these impactful strategies that will transform your professional educational journey amidst potentially changing educational landscape. So before the break, I was able to cover 1 to 3. So I'm going to pick up with number 4, and I'm going to do my very best to cover as many of these 15 as possible. So number 4, invest in micro credentials. Why does it matter? Micro credentials provide targeted skill building opportunities that are flexible and relevant. What are some actionable steps? Look for programs offering certifications in areas like trauma informed teaching, coding, or classroom technology. You can also take the actionable step to look for platforms such as Digital Promise and Bloom Board specialize in micro credentials for educators. You can also take the actionable step to highlight these credentials on your resume on LinkedIn. I love myself some LinkedIn, okay? So I'm just saying, if you want to head over there and start, that would be a good start, honestly. If I would have to make a suggestion as to some changes that may be impactful on your career at this time, is to go ahead, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, is to probably go ahead and get you a nice one set up at this point. Number 5, advocate for support. Why does it matter? Advocacy ensures that educators have tools, time, and resources to grow professionally. What are some actionable steps? Schedule meetings with school leaders to discuss professional development priorities. I just talked about this today with someone. Partner with parent teacher associations to promote teacher support initiatives, and write letters to policymakers advocating for sustained or increased funding for teacher training. So don't just sit on the porch and say, well, that won't work, so I don't think I'll try it. It doesn't matter. My voice won't make a difference. Well, you won't know unless you try. I know when it was Red for Ed, and I may be saying it wrong, but way back in the day, many of the districts in North Carolina went down to Raleigh, and I got to talk to one of the policymakers. And even if you don't know if anything is going to be done, just using your voice and advocating for something that you hold dear, for the career of teaching, makes a difference. It makes you say, I did my part. A lot of people back in the day, for many of the rights, did their part. They got up off the couch, stopped complaining about it with their family members and anyone that will listen, and they actually were proactive. Okay. So let's pick up with number 6, prioritize well being. Why does it matter? Preventing burnout helps educators maintain their passion and effectiveness. I've talked a lot about that on the Let's Talk K-12 Education show, with as you know, with me hosting the information as well as bringing on guests. That's, self-care, wellness is their area of expertise. Actionable steps: use apps like Calm or Headspace to incorporate mindfulness into your daily routine. Schedule regular unplugged times when you step away from work related tasks, and collaborate with colleagues to create a supportive workplace culture focused on well being. Number 7, mentor and be mentored. Why does it matter? Mentorship fosters growth through shared experiences and insights. What are some actionable steps that you can take? You can join formal mentorship programs in your district or professional organizations. You can pair with a veteran teacher to gain guidance, or a new teacher to offer support. How about that? So takes one, give one, take one. I love that approach. Set clear goals for mentorship relationships to maximize effectiveness. Number 8, explore cross disciplinary skills. Why does it matter? Diverse skills help educators adapt to new roles or teaching demands. Because, like I said, we don't know what's going to happen. Actionable steps that you can take workshops in design thinking, project management. Guys, as a consultant, project management is huge, 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 uber huge, 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 huge. That's all I'm saying. Data analytics. Collaborate with colleagues in other disciplines to create interdisciplinary projects. Use platforms like LinkedIn Learning to explore non-traditional skills relevant to education. LinkedIn Learning actually provides lots of free workshops. They will send them to you. People enjoy putting them together, and uh, you know, um, advertising that you can join those courses, and you may even get some CEUs, but don't quote me on that. You might have to do your research on that. Number 9, engage in advocacy efforts. Why does it matter? Advocacy ensures educators' voices are heard in shaping policies and procedures and resources. Actionable steps that you can take. You can join organizations like NEA or AFT to participate in collective advocacy. You can attend school board meetings and speak on issues affecting teachers. You can use social media to share stories or data that highlight the importance of teacher support. Number 10, you can focus on digital literacy. Why does that matter? Technology is central to both teaching and professional growth. What are some actionable steps that you can take? You can take workshops on emerging technologies like augmented reality, virtual reality, or AI in education. And I addressed some of those maybe a week or two ago. Practice integrating digital tools in your lessons, such as interactive whiteboards or classroom apps. I utilize those in the academic coaching that I do, and I have a math tutor. Develop cyber safety practices for both yourself and your students. Again, I'm so proud. Let me give myself some ed snaps. Let's go. So I got through 1 through 10. I am so excited. So, what is the take home message that you can hear as I talk about educators getting prepared for uncharted territories, as we talk about empowering educators, 15 game-changing strategies for professional growth amid uncertainties in 2025? And actually, it probably needs to be emerging uncertainties, for 2025 and beyond. And again, I want to go back to talking about uh, things like project management. When you think of project management, you really don't think of education, but project management is across, every industry. It's just a great skill set to have. And again, I would just say, as an education consultant, I have been utilized in many other industries other than just K-12. So if you're desiring to stay in the field of education, it's still always good to expand your horizons. It's always good to have those thought paradigm mindset shifts. As things shift, the educational landscape shifts. Guess who else needs to shift in the process? You do. And guess who's responsible for that? Is it your principal? Is it your district? Is it your mentor? No, ma'am, and no, sir. It is you that's responsible for what happens so that you stay abreast. Whew. That was a lot to unpack. So let's give our brains a little break. May the new year bring you joy, growth, and success to all K-12 students, their families, and educators. You're listening to Let's Talk K-12 Education on Awesome Radio, WECU 107.5 FM and 1570 AM, where we make K-12 education everyone's community business. We'll be right back after this short message with more inspiration for the world of K-12 education. See you on the other side of the station break. Hey everyone, big news starting Tuesday, February 4th. Let's Talk K-12 Education is moving to a new slot from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. That's right. Every week, every Tuesday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., we'll continue to make K-12 education everyone's community business. Don't miss a beat. See you at the new time. Welcome back to Awesome Radio, WECU 107.5 FM and 1570 AM. You can find us here talking about all things education every Tuesday on the Let's Talk K-12 Education Show. You can find us on Awesome Radio 107.5 FM and 1578 AM with the purple and green logo on Facebook. You can also find us on YouTube on www.youtube.com at Awesome Radio WECU. Again, look for the purple and green logo. You have some suggestions, some topics, some deeper dives that you want, come on and partner with me. You can email us those at let's talk K-12 education at gmail.com. All right. So prepare to be inspired as we continue the list on this journey of professional growth. Let's keep it going with these impactful strategies that will transform your professional educational journey amidst potentially changing educational landscape. I'm going to start at number 11. Develop leadership skills. Why does it matter? Leadership roles help educators influence school policies and culture. What are some actionable steps that you can take? Volunteer for positions like department chair or instructional coach. Enroll in leadership development programs through organizations like ASCD or NASSP. Sorry, I don't have what those are, so I just give acronyms. Again, that happens in our teacher world, so please forgive me. Lead professional development sessions at your school or district. So I'm going to insert myself here and hope that I can do some good time so I can get through the other four that I want to share before we close the show out today. Developing leadership skills. Some people are some teachers, let me say teachers, let's keep it for the K-12 community. Some teachers just have that natural knack for pedagogy, teaching instructional strategies. They're curriculum beasts. They make huge impact. They have great relationships and rapport with the parents of the students. The students love them. And so I understand and I know that some teachers just naturally have it. Some teachers may have to work a little harder at it. Here is my senior education consultant tip to give to you. If you seem invisible, let me just say that piece, because this has just been my experience. And sometimes some educators may feel invisible because they may not be given the opportunities to go to these workshops that will give them, leadership or opportunities for advancement, or seem to do, things within their school buildings. Go have a conversation or send an email to your administrator or curriculum lead. And you may want to say along these lines, "Hi, Mr. Bob or Miss Jane. I want you to be aware that I'm very interested in having some leadership opportunities. I'm willing to work at it, and I'm willing to be a good steward of your time if you happen to share it with me." So just because they may not naturally gravitate towards you when it comes down to going to workshops and professional development that gives you an edge, as an instructional lead, or, a powerful practitioner, or what we call teacher rock stars, then sometimes you have to bring it to their attention that you're interested. Because if they don't naturally gravitate towards you and you have an interest into being a leader or an interest into doing some leadership around the school, they won't know. So you can share that with them. And a lot of good administrators or curriculum leads in a building, if they're really good and they have a love for education, and they have a love to mend and mold some good teachers, they're going to give you an opportunity. And they're not only going to give you the opportunity, they're going to give you some good coaching along the way. So that's just my tidbit for you. Don't be the victim. Don't play the victim. Be the victor and advocate for yourself. And I know I took a lot of time to develop number 11 when it talks about developing leadership skills, but I was very blessed. I'm very fortunate that I did have those teams to gravitate towards me that invested in me heavily. Lots of leadership opportunities. And I do remember sometimes some of the other teachers felt some type of way. So I'm telling you, from my mouth to your ears or from my face to your eyes to present yourself if you're interested, because we don't know what could be happening. You may have to make those shifts. And again, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Okay? I'm just saying. Number 12, build resilience, build resilience through networking. Why does it matter? Strong professional networks provide both practical advice and emotional support. What are some actionable steps that you can take to build resilience through networking? You can attend education focused conferences or workshops to meet peers. You can join social media groups like Twitter, EduChat to connect with global educators. You can regularly exchange ideas with colleagues in informal settings. So, oh my goodness, I know that I'm trying to get through and I'm doing some pretty good time. And I have 3 more of those strategies to share with you. But to add more context, to build resilience through networking. So, my wonderful educational community, my K-12 education community, I'm not going to say long gone are the days that you are just abundantly blessed with this platform of professional development and workshop opportunities that your district offers and your school offers, and you just got your pick. I'm not saying those days are going to be long gone anytime soon. I'm just saying to have the thought process, well, with the new changes, what if it is? So it is up to you to advocate for yourself. And again, it is up to you to have those paradigm mind shifts to as the landscape is shifting, you also need to be shifting in your thought processes, in your behaviors. Because what if the platforms of professional development that are paid for by your district or that your wonderful administrator at your school pays for you to go, what if the funding is shift and those things are no longer there? So you need to start thinking proactively, as I said in the last week's show, putting the horse before the cart is going to be so much easier than trying to turn that thing around when he's already behind the cart or the cart is in front of him. Or as my dad used to say, God rest his sweet soul, as when you got this big old ship out in the middle of the ocean, it is so hard to turn that thing all the way back around to come back to where you start. Okay. So I want you to think about it. I'm just here putting the information out there for you. And as your sister, pretty much in education, as your educational thought leader, as your, the show host of Let's Talk K-12 Education Show, as your educational enthusiast, for you to start thinking. One thing I can say, educators may not get paid a lot, but we do have perks, and it's not all bad. Like some educators would tell you, we do have perks, and they may come in other ways. Like, for instance, what I just mentioned, there we have usually our cream of the crop of professional development that we can take, and 9 times out of 10 is not any that we have to pay for. The school or the district will pay for it. So I'm just putting it out there to start thinking about, what if that dries up? What if next school year they're making those shifts? And I will tell you to do your research. There are some states that have already started making some shifts in the school buildings, okay? In the districts, district wide, they're making it. And in some cases, I want to really wake you up, they're making them statewide, okay? Okay, I'm just saying. Number 13, as we talk about these strategies for professional development thinking in the midst of potential changes for 2025 for our educators. 13, use reflection as a growth tool. Why does it matter? Self-reflection helps identify strengths and areas for improvement. What are some actionable steps that you can take as you use reflection as a growth tool? Keep a teaching journal to track your successes, your challenges, and your strategies. I know some of you, your brains are beautiful. Mine is beautiful too, but I will tell you, I will forget some stuff right now. Write it down, okay? Number two, use self-assessment tools like surveys or video recordings of lessons to evaluate effectiveness. And then the third thing that you can do to use reflection as a growth tool is collaborate with peers for feedback on teaching strategies. Again, we're talking about ways of empowering educators in 15 game-changing strategies for professional growth amid uncertainties in 2025. Again, yes, will you feel vulnerable? I will tell you some of these tools and some of these strategies that I'm offering. Yes, you probably are going to feel a little vulnerable that someone is going to be coming in and evaluating your teaching instructional strategies. Someone is going to be analyzing your teaching pedagogy of how you do things. Someone is going to be looking at your classroom management. Some is going to be looking at whether your pacing is on point. Some are going to be looking at how you compare against maybe another teacher on your grade level. Guess what? That's okay, because in every other industry, those things take place. They may look different, but they're evaluated too. So, again, come out of your comfort zone, be okay with being vulnerable, be okay in being in full transparency. I shared my transparency story with you in the very beginning at the top of the show. I'm not shame about it. It wasn't a loss, it was a lesson. And I'll take it a step further. I was almost put on a modified plan. As much success as I had as a K-6 reading and math remediation teacher, I could not transfer that skill set to make it look right as a classroom teacher. Now, I will tell you as a caveat, the end of that school year, oh, your girl did a thing as far as them scores were concerned. So, but I knew what to do to grow students, but it didn't, my instruction looked a little off because I came in as a remediation teacher and I'm used to doing some explicit instruction, which is I do, we do, and you do. I did some of that, but it looked a lot like wrote what I did, which is an ugly word now in education, but a lot of the practicing and let me see you practice it. Let me see if you got it down deep. Okay. All right. Moving forward. Number 14, collaborate on grant opportunities. Why does it matter? Grants fund projects and training that might otherwise be inaccessible. What are some actionable steps that you can take? You can research education grants through platforms like Donors Choose, which I don't know if you guys can do that anymore in the districts. So please consult your administrators to make sure that you're in compliance. Or Grant Watch. Partner with colleagues to write grant proposals for classroom initiatives. Share successful grant funded projects with the broader school community. Again, these are suggestions that I am offering up, but I will tell you, make sure that you're in compliance, okay? Number 15, promote lifelong learning. Why does it matter? A growth mindset keeps educators motivated and adaptable. What are some actionable steps that can you take to promote lifelong learning? You can set yearly learning goals such as mastering a new instructional strategy. You can participate in book clubs focused on educational literature, and you can pursue advanced degrees or certifications to deepen expertise. Now, I got my master's in curriculum instruction K-12 right at the turn of them not paying for it for you to have that advanced degree. Now, others would say, well, why would you do that? They're not going to pay you for it. Because it's not for them, it's for me. It's not for them, it's for me. Okay, so I want you to think the same way. It's not about, you know, if it's going to, help in the school, which you wanted, but at the end of the day, You want it to be where it is something that empowers you. It is something that makes you more marketable. It is something that when things come down the pipeline, if they do, you're going to say, I remember Tonitia Langley on the Let's Talk K-12 Education Show on Awesome Radio saying, it is better for you to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. You're going to hear my voice. And if you're looking on social media, you're going to see my face and see me talking with my hands, because that's how passionate I feel about it. We don't want to wait until things happen. Start making those subtle changes. And the thing that I can tell you is, if nothing happens, then yippee, you're ahead of the game. You've had a paradigm mind shift to go out of the box and do something different than to do what you always have done. Okay? Just saying, okay? So thank you for joining me today on the exploration of Empowering Educators, 15 Game-Changing Strategies for Professional Growth Amid Uncertainties in 2025, okay? 2025. As we conclude today's show, I want to leave you with my thought leadership from my perspective as an educational partner, stakeholder in the K-12 villages, and educational entities as a senior education consultant regarding today's topic. Investing in our educators is the cornerstone of a successful education system. This episode empowers teachers with 15 game-changing strategies that go beyond professional development by equipping educators with the tools and resources to adapt, lead, change, build resilience, and prioritize their well-being. You can stand boldly in your full capacity and ultimately create a brighter future for every student. So I want to go back over that again, around my thought leadership, around those 15 strategies that we talked about. We talked about promoting lifelong learning. We talked about collaborating with grant opportunities, using reflection as a growth tool. We talked about building resilience through networking, not just sitting back and waiting for them to give you something. You're being proactive about it. We talked about focusing on digital literacy, engaging in advocacy efforts, and we had a few more. We talked about let's see if I can get it back here again. We talked about prioritizing our well-being. We talked about mentor and being mentored. I did both. And we talked about exploring cross-curricular skills, which was very important, makes you very marketable. We talked about joining professional learning communities, which you do them in your schools, which a lot of times they're mandatory, but we're talking about you being proactive and doing it on your own. We talked about investing in micro credentials. We talked about advocating for support. We talked about all of those 15 strategies in the midst of some uncharted territory that we could be entering. Could be. We don't know. Okay. So with walking in my passion and purpose, sharing my thought leadership around K-12 topics, I have an ask, a brief call to action, such as share your thoughts and insights on these topics with us on social media using the hashtag Let's Talk K-12, and share the show to your network with your family and friends if this show resonates with you. This is Tonitia Langley. I'm your educational enthusiast, thought leader, and show host for Let's Talk K-12 Education Show. We're here every Tuesday. Until next time, stay well and continue to make educational equity everyone's community business. Thank you for tuning in today on Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM and 1570 AM from the Let's Talk K-12 Education Show. We'll see you next week. Hey everyone, big news. Starting Tuesday, February 4th, Let's Talk K-12 Education is moving to a new slot from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. That's right. Every week, every Tuesday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., we'll continue to make K-12 education everyone's community business. Don't miss a beat. See you